Well, unfortunately, I couldn't go out this weekend, so we're stuck in here. So I might as well take the time and just finish what I need to do anyways and show you guys what I'm doing. So if you guys remember this dude right here, the Kastking MG12, really cool reel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach it to this, if I don't break it first. It's the Segai 7.6. So pretty much what I'm doing is I'm going to be showing you guys how I put line on this. And I know I already put some line on a spinning reel, but kind of a little different putting line on a bait casting setup. And also, I'm going to show you guys how to tune it. So, kill two birds with one stone maybe? Let's get to it. So, very first thing I'm going to do, put them together. So this is the first time they're ever touching. Look at that. Ooh. By the way, I really love this. I mean, just how it looks, just lovely. This rod, this reel, you guys are able to get one, either one of these or this combo in general. This is the Freestyle, by the way. Freestyle. It's a really nice rod. I would highly suggest you getting that. Now for the line, I think just because I'm going to be using this for a little bit, couple of different things, I'm just going to go with this one right here. It's the PowerPro 30-pound test, and this is a 8-pound diameter. So this reel does have a smaller spool, you know, a little bit smaller spool than most. So I think the 50-pound test has a 12-pound diameter. So I think this is probably the biggest that I'm gonna be able to go with is 30-pound test, just because it is 8-pound diameter. I could maybe go 40-pound test if I get that Max Quattro PowerPro, which is I don't know if I've done a video on here or not. I don't think I've done a video on here. On my TikTok, there's a video of me just showing it, but I might do a video later of the Max Quattro, which is a little bit thinner line than this. It is still made by PowerPro, but it's a little bit thinner. So I'm just gonna set everything up real quick, get everything all going. I'll show you guys how I do the backing, how I do everything, and then we'll just get to it. We'll just start rambling through and get to the finish line, which is getting some sweet line on this reel. I love it. All right, so first thing we're gonna do, I have this Pisky Fun spool holder. So, and a lot of companies make these. I think I'm actually gonna get the Kastking one just to try it out. But for now, we're gonna use this one. So it has a little suction. So I try to clean it off a little bit. And then I just place the long end towards where I'm pulling, just so I can, so it doesn't like suck it up completely. So now I have this tightens and loosens. Adjust it a little bit. So this tightens the spool, loosens it, whatever you may. So let me go grab the spool real quick. So actually I need to do the backing first. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. So I just shoved the the spool in there. I'm using 10-pound fluorocarbon. Okay, so I ran it through all the guides, and now I'm just going to put it through here. So the very first thing is you're going to go through that, through the front, right here. And then what I usually do is I'll hook it onto the side right here, just so I don't lose the line. See how I hooked it onto the handle, and then I'm able to feed it. I feed it through the bottom right here. There's a little spot right here that you can feed it all the way through. Comes out right there. And then I'm going to feed it back through and maintaining this line over here on this side. Now you can hold the line or you can feed it on the reel handle. So we're going to see how it came out right there. And then we're going to refeed it through, but we're going to thread it on the other side of the spool. Go through like that. Have it come out. Make sure it comes out through the top just like that. And then that way, boom. Now it's not going to fall out. You have it all the way through. And then you'll just pull this part out. And then now you're just going to do an overhand knot. Just going to do, just so I can cinch it. So I'm going to do 2 overhand knots, one on top of the other, 1, and then 2, and then we're going to cinch it, and then I'll just cut the excess off. And what I'm doing with this is just backing so that it doesn't spin on you. So pretty much what I'm going to do is I'm just going to snug it, and then I'm going to make sure that this that the guide or the line feeder is as straight as possible. So I'm just going to kind of hold it and let it spin for a second until it's straight. So right there, that's still not straight. So we're going to go until it, see how it's like coming back, and we're in the center right there. So now I'm going to pull it tight, and then I'm going to let it feed through. There it goes. Okay. So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this rubber band on here, and then for some reason it's caught. I've never had that happen before, actually. It's like caught in there. That's weird. Anyways, got it out. So now we're just going to stick it on here. I'm actually going to punch this in a little bit. All right. And then remember I said this tightens it. You don't want it too tight. You want it just tight enough to where it's going to hold it, because you're going to use your fingers to pretty much tension the whole thing. So see how that looks? And then we're just going to feed out like that. So now we're just going to do the double uni knot to combine them together. Okay, so we have the double uni knot. Now we're just going to put them together. Maybe. All right, there it goes. That's what it's going to look like. And I usually do 4 turns on these ones because they're just, I don't think if you get a fish that pulls you that much to where all your line is out, you're using the wrong setup. So then I'm just going to cut the excess here, and make sure you're actually cutting the excess, because I have cut the main line and had to retie. And I will mention, I do have a video of the knots that I use. The uni knot is one of the knots that I use, is a double one. So I'm using 2 knots in one, and then I'm scooting them together. Okay. So if you do actually want me to show you how to do this one, where they're both together, I can go ahead and do that. Let me know in the comments if you want me to go ahead and do just a little short, or I can do a complete video of the rest of the knots that I do. I might actually do that just so I can show you the egg loop knot, and then there might be one other one that I can't think of off the top of my head, but I might just do that. But let me know in the comments if you want me to do something like that. Egg loop knot, double uni knot, and then any other knot that you might think you want to learn. I know a couple that I don't use very often. Okay, so now that that's all done, now we're just going to grab this, and I'm going to start pulling, just making sure that this is actually going to feed out correctly. So about right there. And then this thing keeps doing that to me. I don't know why, but there it goes again. So then all I'm going to do is go over to the fishing pole and just start reeling. Okay, so I have the line is pinched by my finger, and this is what's going to create the tension. And then I'm just going to start just reeling slowly, just getting line on there, getting it to go uniform. I'm going to tighten the drag just a little bit so I can get a little bit better pinch on it, and just going through. I start off slow, but I keep a lot of tension. If you can see, my fingers are like pretty pressed on there, and I'm just going to go through just little by little. All I'm going to do is I'm going to keep reeling and let it fill up. Look at that, all done. Looks really nice. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tie my lure on. Okay, so I ended up just tying a punching rig on here. So now the very last thing is tuning the reel to whatever weight you have on your on the end of your line. So let's go ahead. For this, I'm going to have to go outside so I get a little bit better room, and you guys are able to see everything that I'm doing. So let me walk out there real quick, and then we'll finish this video off. Okay, so I ended up not going outside. It's pretty freezing out there, so we're going to do it in here. So there's 2 adjustments that you're going to have to make on your reel to get it to actually work correctly. So the very first thing is, let me get some light on there. There we go. Ooh, nice. So the very first thing that you want to do is that you're going to adjust this knob right here. And this knob regulates, you can hear it. It regulates how fast the spool gets released. So how fast it's going to spin. There's little to no restriction when you have it opened up all the way. So when you click this and you let go, and I do recommend that when you click this, you have your finger on here no matter what. You always have your finger on the actual spool. So when you click this and then you let go, see how fast it goes down? So I don't want it to go that fast. So my recommendation is if you're barely starting with a baitcaster, I want you to tighten it until it doesn't fall. So right now I clicked the button, it didn't go anywhere. If I bump it, it's going to come down a little bit, but not a lot. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust this forward, because back towards you is to tighten, away from you is to loosen up. So I'm going to do a couple clicks. So what this does is it gets me to a good starting point where I know that I can loosen it up from here. If you're, like I said, if you're just barely starting with the baitcaster, you don't want it completely loose, because you are going to have the worst time of your life trying to adjust this thing, trying to get this thing to work for you, and you're going to hate it. So I definitely don't want you to hate this, because this is one of the coolest ways and the funnest way to fish if you're trying to throw heavier stuff like, you know, a punching or something like that. You can definitely get more oomph behind your, to, you know, get the fish out of some thick cover with this style of rod compared to a spinning rod. So I'm going to loosen it up a little bit more. I did about 4 right there. So now I'm going to let it go. Okay, it still wants to bump out, but it's not bad. Okay, so now that I got to right there, I'm going to go 2 more until it, what I want it to do is I want it to just flow out. So we're going to do it again. Okay, so that's too fast. Look, too fast. Okay, so we're going to come back. 2. Remember, towards you is to tighten, away from you is to loosen. So then we're going to do it again. Okay, that's still too fast, so we're going to come back. I'm going to do about 3 back, 4 back. Okay, so we're back. There we go. So I know that right there, it's smooth enough to where I need to just come back towards me one more time. Let's try it again. Okay, so I need to loosen it up. So you want it to come out, like I said, kind of like fluid, like just, you know, just come out slowly in one, just like that. You see how it just came out? So I'm going to let it go, just like that. Okay, so now I know that that's there. So the next adjustment that you're going to have, and there's a bunch of different ones in a bunch of different places. Some of them have them inside. In this case, this is outside. So it's this right here, and this is the brake. So the brake, what it does is once you've cast out, it's that last little bit when you get that overspin, after the lure hits the water, you get a little overspin from this that wants to keep going because it has nothing to stop it. So what the brake does is that pretty much what it does. The brake will stop this or slow it down enough to where you can catch it. And you catch it with your finger. So a lot of the times, and I'll go more into detail once I'm able to get out and go fishing on how to cast one of these. But for the most part, what you want to do is when it's about to hit the water, you know it's about to hit the water, you want to just poof, just give it a little, you don't have to slam your finger on it, but just kind of give it a little push, you know, to get it to stop overspinning. But the brake helps you with that. And what I like to do is I like to set it at 5 first. So it's right there at 5. There's a little white little indicator, and if it'll focus, there it goes. So it's at a 5. Most people have it between 6, 7, 8. Some of them have it all the way close to where you're casting out, and it's like before it even gets to hit the water, it's already shutting it down. The reason you don't want that is if you want to cast farther, you're going to have to lay off on the brake a little bit. Otherwise, the brake is going to be working overtime. So I'll show you what happens, and I'm kind of dreadful of this because I know what happens, but I'm going to show you anyway. So I'm going to loosen this up a little bit, get about right there, and then I'm going to let it jump just so you guys can see it. See right there. See all this right here? This is all overspin. So this is where the spool went more than it needed to go. If that happens to you, this is what you do. You just pull it out. And hopefully it's just this much. Because I don't know if you guys know what a bird's nest is, but if that happens, it's going to take a lot to get it out. So I'm just pulling enough to where it's not loose anymore. I'm going to close it. And then I always recommend that if you pull a bird's nest out, you're going to do the exact same thing as when you were spooling for the very first time. You're going to put some tension with your finger and allow the tension to go on the spool. So the line is going to be tight on there. So just like that. The reason for that is because it'll keep happening. If you have loose line or you don't have the right adjustment, you're going to have that happen a lot. So now that we know that that's going to happen, we're going to adjust. You saw how bad it was. So now I'm going to go to a 10. There's a 10. I haven't adjusted this. I just adjusted the brake. So now we're going to let it go. Go again. Okay, it still did it, but it didn't do it as much. You see that? And I actually let it go further from a little bit higher. So once again, we're going to pull this all out, get all the loose line out, just like that. Now we're going to close it, grab our line, put some tension on it, and bring it back towards you. And just like that. Okay, so happy medium is where you have this brake about 6, 7, 5, whatever you're comfortable with. And this right here is tight enough to where it's not overspinning on you. And once you get better at it, you can use your thumb to help it. But for the most part, you want this to be tight enough to where this is not going, you're not losing control of it. And the brake is helping you enough to where it stops the overspin. So it gives you time to put your thumb on it. That's the optimal way of thinking. So not too fast and give you enough time to stop it. So this is where you want to be at. So if you're able to do that, look at that right there. Before it even hit, okay? The heavier the object that you're casting, the easier it is to do this. So this is actually pretty easy as long as you keep an eye on what you're doing. I hope this helps a lot, and I hope that you're able to go out and be brave enough to buy one of these and spool it up and go out and catch yourself a fish. So if you do end up becoming one of the brave ones to go out and buy one of these bait casters and you set it all up and my video helped you, please let me know in the comments below. As far as my future videos, I promise I'm going fishing. I promise. Should be going out here real soon. Might be doing some kokanee fishing, might be doing a little bit more trout fishing. It's just a matter of, I got some stuff going on, so I can't really go out too much. But once I get all this all sorted out, I'll be able to go out and enjoy the outdoors once again. I really appreciate you guys watching my video, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button, and have a wonderful rest of your day.